Nobody cares. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't know how. Hi, I'm Tish with Autism and Enlightenment. Welcome to my channel. I've been wanting to put this video out for a couple of months and I don't have a script. I'm just kind of winging it, so bear with me. Um, at the time of this recording, it's December 2024. I received my official diagnosis in September of 2023, just a couple months shy of my 54th birthday. So I'm a little over a year into the diagnosis at this point. And among many other things, one of the things I found really interesting is that so many people that I would tell I'm autistic, I would be met with a blank stare. Some people would get so awkward for me telling them that they would immediately change the conversation, the topic. So when I thought that's really strange. In the beginning I wasn't sure, but you get enough of that over time and it's just, I thought this is really odd. Why is this? And then it just so happened that a few months back, I came across a text message thread with somebody that I know. And as I'm looking back, I noticed that he had shared about a year before my diagnosis that he had been diagnosed with autism, among other things within this text message. And I didn't reply to him anything about autism. It was the other stuff within the text. And it dawned on me when I saw that I responded to him the same way that others have responded to me. I don't know what it means. And I think for a lot of us, we have a false narrative in our minds. Some may think that autism means a person with like intellectual disabilities, somebody that has a hard time communicating. And though that those things could be comorbidities, it isn't it doesn't have to be in order for somebody to be classified as autistic. I didn't know that. I had my own preconceived notions from the media, the way that we've been told. And I kind of feel like I want to say here too, I understand why that is the narrative that was put out there. If I had a child with high support needs, I would want help for those support needs. So I think it stands to reason that they were the loudest voices in the realm of autism or, even Asperger's, because I didn't know what that meant either. And come to find out that since 2013, Asperger's has been put into the DSM-5 under the category of autism, ASD. Okay. So anyway, I've come to realize that I am surprised at a non-reaction, but I was doing it myself and trying to understand, why that is. And then I thought, well, what if I turn the tables? And I imagine that an allistic person, so allistic means a person that isn't autistic, but imagine that I was sitting across the table from an allistic person and they said to me, I'm allistic. How would I react to that? I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't know how to react to that. So I started to think a little more. First of all, like, why am I even telling people that I'm autistic? Part of it is because I want the world to know that I am autistic. I went nearly 54 years of my life of not knowing who I truly am. I couldn't be completely authentic because there is this huge missing piece in my life, autistic and ADHD. It explained a lot. So again, I'm thinking, all right, well, how would I respond then? Thinking about this. One, it would tell me that they're a person that probably enjoys idle chit chat, small talk. They probably will get jokes quicker than I do. And at some point, if the conversation or the friendship lasts long enough, there will probably be an impasse, a misunderstanding between us because we process information differently. We The perspective just seems to be different. And, I came to realize I've said for years that my husband and I is like we speak a different language. And he's of Polish descent, so I'm like it's like you're speaking Polish and I'm speaking French or German, and we both speak broken English. But I came to realize in this past year that no, in fact, he speaks the native tongue. He speaks English. I'm the one speaking broken English because this society, by and large, doesn't speak the way that I do. So there are times where there will be misunderstandings because there is that language barrier, so to speak. All right. So that would give me insights on an holistic person. So turning the tables back around, I guess, at least for me, and if there's somebody autistic in your life, maybe ask them. When I tell somebody that I am autistic, I guess I want them to understand that for me, I am a serious person. I am very intellectual. Not that I am not emotional, but I respond first from an intellectual perspective rather than from an emotional one. I see things more from an intellectual rather than emotional perspective first. I shouldn't say that. I mean, because if something really upsets me, my emotions are coming out. So, but I think you guys know what I mean. So I would want them to know that, you're probably going to get a non-emotional response from me. My daughter, she bought a new table. She sent me a picture and I said, nice, with an exclamation point. And I knew I had to do the exclamation point because she wanted emotion with my response. A few days later, she's FaceTiming me about something else. And then she pans over to the table because in hindsight, through the conversation, it wasn't emotional enough in my response when she sent me a picture of it. My husband happened to be present during the FaceTime. And he was just like, "Oh, that's a beautiful table. I love it." And I repeated that it's a nice table. And, and actually, I said that before my husband responded. And but then watching his reaction, I could my daughter, I could. It's like her energy was much more excited. And then that's when it dawned on me. I said, "Is that the reaction you were looking for me?" And she said, "Yes." Because I'm excited I have this new table. I want you to be excited for me. And I'm like, well, I am excited for you. It's just, I didn't say this to her, but I just don't tend to get excited about such things. It's kind of like, Ryan Kelly did this video about emojis. And it was so funny because I get so stuck. People, they end a text message or even emojis interlaced within the text message. And then, so of course, when I respond, I feel like I need to put emojis with it. And sometimes I'm like, well, I'm not sure which emoji to use. Anyway, so I guess my point is if somebody's sitting across from me, I tell them that I'm autistic for them to have an understanding that I am more emotional than I am, or I am more intellectual than I am emotional. So because I'm not like rah rah woo woo, doesn't mean that I'm not 100% supporting you and behind you, doing what I can to help you, right? So in recognizing that there are some differences in communication styles. Okay. And then I may not have this continuous eye contact with you, not because I'm being rude or shady, but because it's uncomfortable. And it's really interesting because I've been doing energy for over 25 years, energy work. I started in 97 learning about the chakra system. In the last decade, I teach Reiki. I teach different energy classes. And prior to the knowledge of being autistic, I would tell my clients across from me, because I also have services, that I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude by not looking at you. It's just if I look at you, other things will come to mind. Although there are some times where I am looking into their eyes, but I'm actually looking through them. And then I apologize for looking creepy because I'm looking through them. But to look at somebody in their eyes, I don't know. I think that, just being autistic for those of us, especially, I think, I don't know, um, that are hypersensitive to sound, to taste, to touch, to smell, the lights, for me, when I'm looking into a person's eyes, the window to their soul, right? It's like I can feel the energy of that. Um, it's actually what has made me such an effective and let me rephrase it or make sure I'm clear. It is part of what has made me an effective energy worker because I'm feeling their energy. But there are times where it's inappropriate. And so if I'm speaking with a person outside of work, I don't want to feel that. I feel as though I'm being a voyeur. It's none of my business. So it's uncomfortable. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is for me at least, part of that is it's just uncomfortable. I'm feeling into their energy when I don't necessarily want to do that. All right. So that's it with as far as nobody cares. I think people just don't know how to care. Like I didn't know how to care. Now, when somebody tells me they're autistic, I have come back with, congratulations, welcome to the club. But I will look at that a little bit deeper too of, you know, this is somebody I could probably better relate to. It's interesting that people in my orbit that are finding out that they too are autistic. It's like we kind of have a way of finding each other. But if you're somebody watching this video and you are new, heading into a diagnosis, questioning whether or not you are, and you are maybe recently diagnosed, and you were wondering what it's like a year out, there are a lot of other YouTube um, autistic content creators out there too that share their experiences. Mine may or may not resonate with you. But I will say that it was very difficult leading into it. My life imploded in early 2023, which is ultimately what led me to the assessment and ultimately to the diagnosis. And then I spent this time researching what is autism. And early on I found Orion Kelly. And forgive me for not remembering her name, but Mom on the Spectrum. And I remember watching her in particular thinking, it felt like there was mirroring, right? Where I thought, like, I'm her. I mean, obviously I'm not her, but feeling that resonance with what she was saying. And I'm thinking, if she's autistic, surely I can be autistic because the people in my orbit were like, you're not autistic. Or aren't we all a little on the spectrum? And they meant well because they love me. And they didn't quite know either what it meant to be autistic, to go through life for decades of not knowing and what that looks like compared to the stereotype that we have been fed. So, so I couldn't get my mind around it. And, I teach people that other people's thoughts, words, opinions, judgments, ideas are just that they belong to them. But in this case, I didn't know what I was navigating. I didn't know what to do. So I was reaching out for insight and trying to learn as much information as I could. And I felt at times like I have been gaslit my whole life. I have been an imposter. I thought I knew who I was, and then I was authentic, and I really wasn't because I didn't know I was ADHD and autistic. Um, so there were bouts of anger, bouts of depression, bouts of elation because now at least I know. And and I have found that I have really settled in over this year. I am not as obsessed with watching all the autism videos as I was early on. Um, Gradually over the course of this last year plus, I have wound down with that. So I'm still watching them for more insight, but not in the obsessive level as I was in the beginning. But as I'm saying that, um, I really owe a debt of gratitude to Orion Kelly, Mom on the Spectrum, Jen from Neurodivergent, Mike from Autistic AF, um, Paul Micallef. There's the Divergent doctor, like from the West Coast. Can't think of his name, but he was helpful early on too. And I know I'm missing other people in here. Um, the point is, this community is priceless. I can only, if I can, imagine the lives that the community here on YouTube, how much it has helped people like me. Where I wanted to cry, I had very dark thoughts. And those content creators kept me going. And I'm so grateful to them. And it's part of the reason why I wanted to do this autism channel myself, because we find the people that we are meant to find, that we resonate with, right? And I want to do this channel through a different lens of energy work. The energy, as I said, of looking somebody in the eyes. The energy that I used as a child to hone into my parents' energy to know if it was safe to stay in the same room or if I maybe should just go up to my bedroom. Um, so there's energy involved with this as well that I want to get to, and I'm hoping 2025 will afford me the opportunity to have more time to put these videos up for those that are interested. So yeah, I'm more grounded a year later. I'm grateful for the experience. I continue to grow and to evolve, which in my book is a wonderful thing. I still have some down days, but for the most part, like, I'm grateful I'm autistic. I would prefer to be autistic and be very passionate in my interests than not. I would prefer to be autistic and be honest about things than not. So would I change it even as difficult as it's been in life? No, I wouldn't. So, Mike from Autistic AF even did like the red pill, blue pill. So no, I would remain um, autistic. In many ways, it has served me well. And I'm sorry I keep licking my lips. My lips are just really dry and, whatever. So, anyway, one more note before I go. I want to make the point that this is not a political channel. However, after the recent election here in the United States, I started to think about those who voted for Kamala Harris and what they must have felt like after she lost. And let me be clear, this isn't about Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. This is about those who voted for somebody who didn't win and how they may be feeling. Because I know for some of us, it may be difficult articulating how we're feeling, what the emotions are like. And I want you to know that, well, first, I hope you've been taking care of yourself. And I really wanted to get something out sooner, but out of tropism, I've been so focused elsewhere. Regardless of who you voted for, when somebody suffers a loss, it's so hurtful. And I want you to know that I see you and I hear you and I feel you. And as the simple reminder that this wonderful autism, my baby, my doggy's in here, community, and this wonderful community of fellow autists, that we're here, we have each other's back, and everybody, we're all going to be okay. We're all in this together, regardless of who you voted for. We are still all connected. We're all in this together. Thank you for watching today's video. If you have any questions or if you want to leave a comment, please do so below. And otherwise, I don't know when I'm going to be able to jump back on again, but when I do, um, I guess I'll see you then. Thank you. Be well. Happy holidays, and here's to a wonderful, beautiful, happy, healthy, insightful new year. Be well.